I wasted 4 months of my life following YouTube tutorials and building crappy websites every single time. And after 4 months, I had nothing. And here's what everyone hides from you. WordPress is actually a lot simpler than it's taught to be online. Most tutorials show you all the fancy stuff first, the page builders, the custom post types, the 27 plugins that we don't really need. And you follow along for 3 hours and then we end up more confused than ever before. So in this video, I wanted to do something different. I'm showing you the exact workflow to build a real, professional, fast-loading business website in just 30 minutes. And it's not because I'm rushing here, but it's because 30 minutes is what it actually takes when you know the right sequence, of course. And most people get this sequence wrong and then end up doing double the amount of work, repeating settings, wondering why their website looks like it was built in, 2009. So that by the end of this video, you're gonna have a clean WordPress foundation that just loads fast, it looks professional, and actually does its job. So let's go ahead and get into it. So quick thing, check out the description down below. There's something that you definitely do not want to miss right over there. All right, so most people, they open up WordPress and immediately feel overwhelmed, and I don't blame you. There are too many menus, there are way too many options, and there's no real clear starting point. So what usually happens is we jump between different tasks, trying to design and then write content and then install all these plugins all at the same time. And then that's where things just start to break down. So before doing anything inside the dashboard here, you just need a simple mental model of how WordPress actually operates. WordPress is not just one system. It works more like 3 separate layers that are connected but serve completely different purposes. So once you understand this separation between these 3, then everything will just be a lot easier to manage in the future, and you will avoid breaking things accidentally when making small changes. So that first layer is content management, and this is the foundation of your site. It includes all of your text or images, your service descriptions, and any information that you want your visitors to see. And everything here lives inside of posts and pages and the media library. And the second layer is design control. And this is what determines how your content looks. It handles things like your layout, your fonts, your colors, and where elements are placed on the page. And this is managed through themes and the customizer. The important thing to understand here is that design does not change your content. It only changes how that content is presented. The third layer is now functionality, and this is where your site gains additional features, things like contact forms and backups and security, and even those performance tools, those all come from plugins. Now, these are external tools that extend what WordPress can do. But the thing is here, a lot of beginners, we just struggle because we try to learn all of these layers all at the same time, 3 things at one time. No. We install a theme, then we immediately try to write content, then we jump into all these plugins, and then we go back to design again. So this constant switching creates confusion and just makes it hard to see any actual progress. And it feels like we are doing a lot, but nothing is actually coming together. And the better approach here is to just follow a clear sequence and focus on one layer at a time. So first we handle our core settings and we clean up our dashboard so that everything is just organized. And then we create our content because our website does need something to display before we even worry about how it looks. After that, then we can apply our design so that everything becomes visually consistent. And then once that's done, we can just now add all of those necessary functionalities to make our site actually work for our business. And finally, you can also move into launching and maintaining the site so it stays updated and secure over time. So when you follow this specific order, WordPress will not be chaotic and will be more structured. There's no need to guess what to do next. We just move step by step with a clear direction. And then that's what allows us to build a complete working website without getting stuck. So when you first open up the WordPress dashboard, it can feel cluttered, and it is kind of distracting too. There are widgets here, notifications there, and all these extra menus and submenus that really don't help us get our site up and running. And that's why the first step is to treat the dashboard as your command center and really only focus on what actually matters. We're not here to explore everything. We're here to build a functional business website. So the goal is to simplify your workspace and set up a strong foundation. So here on the left-hand side, you'll see the main navigation menu. And out of everything here, you only need to focus on 5 core areas. Posts is used for blog-style content like updates or articles. Media is your storage space for your images and all your files. Pages is where you create your main site structure, like say your home and services and your contact pages. Appearance controls how your site looks, including those themes and layouts. And plugins is where you install additional features to extend what your site can do. And you'll also notice other sections like tools and comments and users. So for a business portfolio site, they're not important right now. Instead of trying to understand everything all at once, let's just go ahead and ignore them. Keeping our attention on these 5 core areas will make the entire process just a lot more straightforward and also prevents unnecessary confusion early on. One of the first things that confuses people inside of WordPress here is the difference between what posts are and what pages are. And they look similar, but they do serve completely different purposes, and then using them incorrectly can actually make your site feel really disorganized. So pages are used for the core structure of your apps. Now, these are the things like your home page, your services page, your about us, and of course your contact page. They don't have publishing dates, and they're meant to stay consistent over time. And this is what forms the main navigation of your site. Posts, on the other hand, are for content that does change over time. These include blog articles, updates, and/or tutorials. They're date stamped even, they're organized into categories, and automatically grouped into a blog feed. The key difference here is simple. Pages, these are static and they define your site structure, while posts are dynamic and they're organized chronologically. So to set up your foundation, just go over here to pages, then click add a page, create a page called home, of course, another called services, and a third called contact us. Now, once each one is ready, click publish. And now we're using pages here because your services and your contact information are permanent. If you later decide to write updates or articles, well, then that's when you use posts, and WordPress will automatically organize them into a timeline. So images are one of the biggest factors that affect your site's performance, and this is where a lot of beginners make mistakes without even realizing it. So if you upload a large, unoptimized image straight from your device, your website will load slowly, especially on mobile. And that alone can drive visitors away before they even see your content. So before uploading anything, let's go ahead and compress our images using a free tool like TinyPNG so that the file size is actually under 200 kilobytes. Now this keeps our site fast while still maintaining good visual quality. You should also rename your image files on your computer before uploading them. So say instead of something like image_9823.png, use a clear name like blackcoffeemug.png. And this helps with organization and gives search engines a much better understanding of what the image actually represents. And once your images are ready, go to Media and click Add Media File. And from there, all you got to do is simply just drag and drop your files into the upload area here. And doing that adds them to your media library where they'll be available to use across your entire site. If you're working with other people on your website, then setting the right permissions is important here. Not everyone should have full control, especially when it comes to critical settings that can affect the entire site. So to add a new user, just go over to users here and click add user, enter your team member's details, then choose a role from the drop-down menu. And then for most cases, really, selecting editor is the best option. Once everything is filled out, click add new user. As the administrator, you now have full control over the site, including the ability to change themes, settings, and core functionality. So that level of access can easily break the site if something does go wrong. If You're assigning someone as an editor, they can still create content, upload images, and manage pages, but they won't be able to access or modify critical system settings. This keeps your site secure while still allowing your team to contribute. There are a few settings in WordPress that most people skip, but they also have a direct impact on how your site looks and functions and performs. Getting these right early saves you a lot of issues later on. So we'll start with your permalinks. Go to Settings, then Permalinks. Select Post Name, scroll down, and click Save Changes. And by default, WordPress uses messy URLs like yourwebsite.com/?p=123, which don't even look professional and don't help with search visibility. Switching to post name creates clean links like yourwebsite.com/contact-us, which are easier to read and better for SEO. Next is your time zone. Go to Settings, then General, and scroll down to the time zone option. Instead of choosing, say, a manual UTC offset, just select a city in your region like Manila or London, then click Save Changes. WordPress runs on UTC by default, and if you don't update this, well, then your scheduled posts and backups and logs will then run onto the wrong time. Choosing a city also ensures your site automatically adjusts for daylight saving changes when applicable. After that, adjust your discussion settings to prevent spam. Go over to Settings, then Discussion. Uncheck the option that allows link notifications from other blogs. Then scroll down further and enable manual approval for comments. Now, WordPress is set up to allow comments by default, which then means bots can also flood your site with spam. So turning on moderation keeps your database clean and prevents those performance issues at all in the first place. So finally, set up your homepage correctly. Go to Settings, then Reading. Select the option for a static page, then assign your homepage as the homepage, and then your services page as the post page. And this creates a clear structure where your main business content stays fixed on the homepage while any updates or articles are organized separately. It gives your site a more professional and predictable layout for visitors. Now that we're done setting up the foundation, it's now time to let the website really start to take shape here. Content is what people come to your site for, yes? It's your services, your message, and everything that your visitors will read and interact with. Now, without it, your site is just an empty layout. To start building, go to Pages, then All Pages, and click Edit on your homepage. And this will open up the WordPress block editor, which is the main tool that we're going to use to create your layout. So instead of thinking in terms of writing one long piece of text, think of your page as a collection of blocks. Every element that you add, whether it's a paragraph, an image, or even a video, is its own separate block. This makes everything easier to control because you can move and edit or remove individual elements without affecting the rest of your childhood. So once you understand how blocks work, then you don't need to learn everything in the editor. Most of the time, you'll only use a small set of blocks to build a clean and professional layout. Click the blue plus icon here in the top left corner to open up the block library, and from there, focus on the core blocks you'll use most often. The paragraph block is for your main text. The image block lets you add photos. The heading block is used to create titles and break up sections. The list block helps organize all of the information that you need into bullet points or even numbered steps. The buttons block is for actions like contact us or request a quote. And the columns block allows you to place content side by side, and the spacer block helps you add space between sections so everything just feels more readable. WordPress also includes a lot of traditional blocks, but you don't need to use all of them. These are just the core ones, and they're enough to build almost any business website. Using the right block also improves how your content actually looks. So for example, adding a proper button makes a call to action much clearer and more effective than just, say, using a simple text link. Now, how you structure your content matters just as much as what you write. And most visitors don't even read every word on a page. When was the last time you did that? They scan, looking for key sections that match what they need. So let's start by adding a heading block at the top of our page and enter our main offering. Something like, say, professional consulting services. Make sure this is set as an H1. This tells both users and search engines what your page is primarily about. And then below that, add another heading block for your next section, like our core services, and then set it as an H2. So from there, you can continue breaking your content into smaller sections using headings. Using clear headings makes your page easier to navigate and keeps visitors engaged. It also creates a sort of logical structure that just helps search engines understand your content, improving how your site appears in search results. As you add images to your page, there is a simple step that a lot of people overlook, but it has a direct impact on your SEO and accessibility. Here's what you need to do. Insert your image blocks for each of your services, then click on any image that you've added. On the right-hand side, you'll see the settings panel. Look for the alternative text field and enter a clear description of what the image shows. Search engines can't actually see images, but they do rely on text to understand them. Adding alt text tells search engines what your image is about, which helps your site appear in image services. It also improves accessibility since screen readers use this text to describe images for visually impaired users. But beyond search engines, how your content looks and how it feels to real people now matters just as much. Even if your content is good, poor presentation can push visitors away before they even engage with it. One of the most common mistakes is turning your page into a whole wall of text. Long, unbroken paragraphs across the full width of the screen. Those are hard to read and usually cause visitors to leave quickly. So instead, let's go ahead and break your content into smaller, more visual sections. Click the plus icon, type /columns, and choose a 50-50 layout. Place an image on one side and a short description on the other, ideally no more than, say, 2 or 3 sentences. And this layout makes your content easier to just scan and keep people engaged. It also adds visual balance and helps your message come across more clearly without really having to overwhelm the reader. Your content is already in place, but it still needs a consistent visual identity. Everything exists, but it doesn't yet feel like a complete polished website. And this is where design comes in. In WordPress, design is controlled by your theme. A theme acts as the global style system for your entire site. It defines how your pages look, how your layout is structured, and how your content is presented to visitors. To choose a theme, go over here to Appearance, then Themes, and click Add Theme. Use a search bar to look for lightweight options like Astra, Generate Press, or Cadence. So all you gotta do is just hover over your chosen theme, then click Install, and then wait for it to download, then click Activate. Now, it's important to avoid here themes that are overloaded with animations and effects. While they may look kind of impressive at first, they often slow your site down and makes it harder to customize. A lightweight theme gives you a clean, fast foundation that you can build on without any limitations. And the settings that actually impact your site once your theme is active, because the next step is customizing how your site looks so it matches your brand. And this is done through the customizer, which lets you make global changes and see them in real time. Go to Appearance, then click Customize, and inside the editor, start by selecting Header from the left sidebar. Click Logo, then select Logo, and then upload your own logo file. Once applied, it will automatically update across your entire site, including pages and posts. So next, go back to the sidebar and open Colors and Fonts, then select Color. And this is where you set your main brand colors, including your background and your text. So let's adjust these until everything feels pretty consistent and easy to read. And if you're satisfied already, just click Publish to apply the changes. The customizer gives you a live preview as you can make adjustments, and you can also immediately see how everything already looks. Setting your colors and branding here ensures that every element across your site just stays consistent, which makes your website feel more professional. Your pages are created now, but they're not accessible yet until you connect them through a menu. And this is what allows visitors to actually move through your site. Go to Appearance, then Menus, create a new menu, and then name it Navigation. Then set it as the primary display location. And from there, just go to Pages, select View All, check the inboxes for your pages, and then click Add to Menu. And once everything is added, just click Save Menu. But without a menu, then your pages technically exist, but there's no clear way for users to find them. Setting a primary menu places those links in your site's header, giving visitors a simple and a structured way to navigate through your website. Another important part of your layout is the widget area, which is usually found here in the footer. So this is a space that appears across your entire site, making it ideal for information that you do want visible on every single page. So let's go to Appearance, then Customize, and open the footer section. Click the plus icon in the widget area to add, of course, a widget, then select a text block. Enter your business hours and physical location, then click Publish. Widgets act as fixed sections that stay consistent throughout your site. So placing details like your operating hours and location in the footer ensures that visitors can always find this information no matter which page they're actually on. A big portion of your visitors will be viewing your site on their phones, so it is important to make sure everything looks good on smaller screens. So let's head on over to Appearance, then Customize, and in the editor here, look at the lower left corner while you see icons for desktop, tablet, and mobile views. Click the mobile icon to switch the preview into a phone-sized screen. And then from there, go through your layout and check your text, your spacing, and your images. And make adjustments where needed so that nothing overlaps and gets cut off or looks too cramped. Now, this step helps you catch issues early on and ensures that your site does actually indeed work smoothly across all devices, not just on the desktop. All right, so your site already looks pretty good at this point, but it still does not actually do anything yet. It's purely informational, and this is where plugins come in, the plugin trap. So why less is more? Because plugins are what turn your website into a functional tool. They add features like contact forms, security, backups, and performance improvements. But instead of building these systems from scratch, you just rather install them as an add-on. But this is also where a lot of people go wrong, because it is easy to install plugins just because they seem useful or interesting. The problem is that every plugin adds extra code to your site. Too many plugins will slow down your site and can even create security risks. A good rule to follow then is simple: only install what you actually need for your business. Keeping your plugin stack minimal makes your site faster, more stable, and easier to manage. If you keep things simple, there are only a few plugins you actually need to run a proper business website. You'll need an SEO tool like Rank Math or Yoast to help your site show up on search engines. A caching plugin like LiteSpeed Cache improves loading speed. A security plugin such as Wordfence protects your site from attacks. A backup plugin like UpdraftPlus ensures that you always have a copy of your site. And also a form builder like WPForms or Fluent Forms allows visitors to contact you. And to get started, install a form builder first. So let's go to Plugins, then click Add Plugin. Search for something like WPForms, click Install Now, then Activate. Keep in mind that a form builder is essential because it gives people a secure way to contact you or request services. And without it, you'd have to display your email publicly, which usually leads to a whole bunch of spam. As for security, it's something you don't want to ignore even for a simple website. WordPress sites are often targeted by automated bots trying to guess login details, so putting basic protection in place is important. And to handle this, you only need one solid security plugin set up correctly. So go to Plugins, then Add Plugin, and search for a security plugin called Wordfence. Install and activate it, then go into its settings and make sure brute force protection is turned on. So this feature automatically blocks any system that tries to enter the wrong password way too many times. It's a simple layer of protection that does really help keep your dashboard secure without adding any complicated setup. So backups are one of those things that you don't really think about until something goes wrong. A failed update, a broken plugin, or even a server issue can take your entire site down in seconds. To avoid that, install a backup plugin. Go to Plugins, then Add Plugin, and search for something like UpdraftPlus. Install and activate it, then open up its settings. Set your database to backup daily and your files weekly, then connect it to a remote storage option like Google Drive. So this way, even if something does break, you have a full copy of your site stored safely outside of your own server. So instead of rebuilding everything from scratch, you can also restore your site in just a few minutes. So speed plays a big role in how people experience your website. If your pages just take too long to load, most visitors won't even wait. I know I won't, they'll just leave. To improve performance, then make sure to install a caching plugin. And this is what you need to do. Go to plugins, then add plugin, and search for something like LiteSpeed Cache. Install and activate it, then open its settings and enable the cache controls. After that, click Save Changes. And caching works by turning your site into a lightweight version that loads much faster for visitors. So instead of, say, processing everything from scratch each time, it just serves a ready-made version of your pages. Features like lazy loading also help by delaying the loading of large images until the user scrolls down, which makes your site just feel faster right from the very beginning. So at this point, your website is built out, but going live is more than just pressing publish. Before launch, you need to make sure that everything works properly, looks trustworthy, and is ready for real visitors. This is the stage where small mistakes can quietly hurt your credibility if you miss them. The items that separate amateur from professional, well, those start with a full link check. Open up your website in a new browser tab and begin from the home page. Click every link in your navigation menu, every button on the page, and every text link in the footer. After each click, make sure the correct page loads and that the URL in the address bar does indeed match the destination that you intended. Broken links make a site feel unfinished and can immediately make visitors lose trust. Next, test your contact form like a real visitor would. So go to your Contact Us page, fill out the form using a secondary email address, and then click Submit. And then after that, log into your business email and confirm that yes, the notification arrived. So check that the message is actually readable and that the name, the email, and message fields are clearly displayed. A contact form is supposed to help you generate business. So if it fails or the emails never arrive, then you could be losing leads without realizing it at all. So after that, go ahead and check your search engine visibility setting. Here in your dashboard, go to Settings and Reading and scroll to the bottom over here. Look for the checkbox labeled Discourage Search Engines from Indexing this site, and then make sure it is unchecked, then click Save Changes. So during development, this setting is sometimes enabled to keep unfinished work hidden, but forgetting to turn it off at launch can prevent your site from appearing in search results at all. You also need to verify your SSL and security status. So look at the address bar in your browser here and confirm that yes, indeed, your URL starts with HTTPS and shows a closed padlock icon. Click the padlock and review the certificate details to make sure it is valid and active. If your site says not secure, go to Settings, then General here and update both your WordPress address and site address from HTTP to HTTPS. Then check the site again and confirm that the certificate is now working properly. So this matters because visitors do notice security warnings immediately, and a site without SSL today especially looks untrustworthy. So the last step before launch is checking performance. So let's use a free tool called PageSpeed Insights and run a test on your website URL. Review the core web vitals and look for warnings related to large image sizes or render blocking resources. These issues can slow your site down and then make visitors just leave before the page even fully loads. A fast site feels more professional and performs better in search. So going through each of these steps, make sure that your site is not just online, but actually ready for people to use. Now, before fully launching, you also need to make sure that your domain and your hosting are set up correctly behind the scenes. Now, this is what connects your website to the whole internet. So log in to your hosting provider's dashboard and also check two key things here. First, confirm that your SSL certificate is active. This is what enables the secure padlock icon in the browser and also ensures that your site loads with HTTPS instead of HTTP. Second, verify that your DNS record is pointing to the correct IP address provided by your host. The DNS record works like the internet's phone book. It tells your domain exactly where your website is stored, and if this isn't set correctly, well, then your site won't load properly. The SSL certificate, on the other hand, encrypts the connection between your site and your visitors, which is essential for trust and security. This is the step where your website moves from a private build into a live, public website that pretty much anyone can access. And everything that we've created so far here needs to be transferred properly so that nothing breaks in the process. Let's start by packaging your website on your local WordPress site. Go to Plugins, then Add New, and search for All-in-One WP Migration. Click Install Now, then Activate. Once it's installed, look at the left sidebar here, open the All-in-One WP Migration menu, and select Export. Click Export to, choose File, and then wait for the system to finish archiving your site. And when it's done, just click the green download button and save the .wpress file to your computer. Next, set up the destination site. Log into your hosting provider's control panel, such as, say, Bluehost, SiteGround, or Hostinger. Just use the one-click WordPress installer to create a brand new WordPress site on your domain. After installation, just log into the dashboard of this live site. Go to Plugins, then Add New, search for, again, All-in-One WP Migration, and then install and activate it. Once that's ready, just begin the migration transfer. In the live site dashboard, go to All-in-One WP Migration and click, this time, Import. Select Import From, choose File, and upload the .wpress file that you downloaded earlier. And when the warning appears stating that the process will overwrite your database, your media, and the themes, click Proceed anyway. Wait for the import to complete, then click Finish. You will now be logged out automatically because your site has now been replaced with your original version, including your login credentials. So finally, calibrate your site URLs, log back into the live dashboard using your original username and password, then go to Settings, then Permalinks, and without changing anything here, just scroll down and click Save Changes. Then click Save Changes a second time. This step forces WordPress to rewrite the .htaccess file on the live server, ensuring that your links and your structure work correctly. Keeping your website running properly does not require a lot of time actually, but it does require consistency. A simple weekly check is enough to keep everything secure and up to date. So once a week, log into your WordPress dashboard and look for the update icon at the top left. Click the circular update arrows, then select all outdated plugins and themes and click Update. Outdated plugins are one of the most common reasons WordPress sites just get hacked. Developers regularly release updates to fix security issues and also improve performance. So taking a few minutes each week to apply all of these updates really does help keep your site stable, secure, and running pretty smoothly. A website doesn't really grow just by being online. Nope. Once it's live, the next step is understanding how people actually use it so that you can improve it again over time. So let's go to Plugins, then Add New, and in the search bar here, let's type SiteKit by Google. Look for the plugin developed by Google with the multicolored G that we all know. Click Install Now, wait a few seconds, then click Activate. After activation, a new menu called SiteKit will appear at the very top of your left-hand sidebar. Let's go ahead and click into it, then click Start Setup. Make sure to check the box that says Connect Google Analytics as part of your setup, then click Sign In with Google. A pop-up will then appear asking you to log in to your Google account, of course, either say Gmail or Google Workspace. Select the account associated with your business, and when prompted by the setup wizard, click Verify. After that, click Allow to turn on metrics in your dashboard, then click Setup to automatically connect your site to Google Search Console. Next, the setup will then guide you through Google Analytics. Choose your Google account from the drop-down list here. And if you don't have an analytics account yet, that's okay. You'll see a create account option as well. Click it, confirm your country and time zone, accept the terms of service, and then click Go to My Dashboard. And once everything is connected, go to SiteKit, then Dashboard in your WordPress sidebar. And now you'll see a notice saying that Analytics is gathering data. So this is important here because data drives our decisions. If you notice that most of your traffic is going to a specific service page, then you immediately know where to focus your content, your marketing, and improvements to grow your site more effectively. So once you're comfortable with the basics, a few small shortcuts can make a big difference in how fast and efficiently you work. These are the kinds of workflows that turn WordPress from something slow and manual into something much easier to manage. So inside the block editor, you can use the / command to quickly insert elements. Just hit enter for a new line, type a / followed by the block name like /image or /columns, then press enter again. And this lets you add blocks instantly without having to open the full menu. For links, you don't really need to use the toolbar every single time. Just highlight the text that you want to turn into a link, then press Ctrl-K on Windows or Command+K on Mac, paste your URL, and then press enter. It is much faster than clicking through a bunch of menus. You can also create headings quickly using simple text shortcuts. On a new line, for example, type 2 hashtags followed by a space to create an H2 heading, or 3 hashtags for an H3. This helps you structure your content faster without having to switch through many tools. If you've already designed a block the way that you do like, you don't need to rebuild it all over again. Just click on that block and press Ctrl+Shift+D on Windows or Command-Shift-D on Mac to duplicate it instantly. This is especially useful for buttons or repeated layouts. For managing content, bulk actions save a lot of time. Go to Posts, then All Post, select multiple articles using the checkboxes, and then use the Bulk Actions drop-down menu to edit them together. You can assign categories or update settings without opening each and every single post individually. And the same idea also applies to comments. So go to the comments section here, use the master checkbox at the top to select all visible entries, then choose Mark as Spam or Move to Trash from the Bulk Actions menu. Instead of deleting comments all one by one, you can just go ahead and clear out everything in just a few clicks. So these small workflows don't change how your site works, but they do make managing it much faster and more efficient over time. As your site grows, maintaining consistency becomes more important than before. Rebuilding the same layout over and over not only wastes a bunch of time, but can also lead to small inconsistencies in your design. So instead, you can go ahead and turn your layouts into reusable templates. Create a service section with your preferred structure, your fonts and styling. And then once it's set, all you got to do is click on the block settings here and choose Create Pattern or save it as a reusable block. So this saves the entire layout to your library. So if ever you need to add more services later on, you can just insert the same structure with one click instead of just having to rebuild it all over again from scratch. It keeps your design consistent and makes your workflow, again, just so much faster and more efficient. Issues can happen even on a well-built site, whether it's a layout glitch, a broken feature, or something just not loading correctly. And instead of guessing, it is much better to just follow a simple process to identify the cause. We'll start with the easiest fix. All you got to do is click Purge Cache or Clear Cache in your top admin bar. Depending on your caching plugin, then refresh the page, and that's it. Many visual issues come from cache versions of your site not updating properly. And if the problem does continue, move to Plugins. Go to Plugins, then Installed Plugins. Select all of them using the checkbox and use Bulk Actions to deactivate everything. And then go ahead and check your site again, and if it works, then one of the plugins is the guilty one causing the issue. And then just reactivate them one by one until you find the source. And if plugins aren't the issue still, then check your theme. Go to Appearance, then Themes here, and temporarily switch to a default WordPress theme something like, say, 2025. If the issue disappears, then yeah, your theme is likely the cause. So this step-by-step approach helps you just to quickly isolate and fix most WordPress problems without unnecessary trial and error. So where you get your themes and your plugins from actually matters just as much as what you install. Using the wrong source can introduce serious security risks without you even realizing it. For free themes and free plugins, just always use the official WordPress.org repository. These are reviewed and maintained to meet WordPress standards, which does make them a lot more reliable. And if you're using premium tools, purchase them directly from the developer's official website. So doing this ensures you're getting the original secure version along with proper updates and support. So avoid third-party marketplaces that offer premium plugins at unusually low prices or for free. These versions are often modified and can include hidden malicious code. Installing them can even compromise your entire website. So sticking to official and trusted sources keeps your site secure, stable, and much easier to maintain. Avoiding mistakes is just as important as knowing what to do. A lot of issues in WordPress don't even come from complexity, but rather from small decisions that just build up over time. And one of the most common problems is plugin overload. It's too easy to install multiple plugins that do the same thing, like having 2 or 3 SEO tools running all at once. This can lead to conflicts and errors and slower performance. So to prevent this, all you got to do is a simple audit of your plugins, at least say once a month. Go through your installed plugins and then check which ones are actually being used. And if a plugin is deactivated or is no longer serving a purpose, don't just leave it there, just click delete and remove it completely. Deactivating a plugin only turns it off, but the files still remain on your server. So then, over time, this can take up precious space and even create security risks if those files are indeed outdated. Removing unused plugins keeps your site cleaner and faster and just more secure. Choosing a theme might feel like a small decision, but it has long-term effects on your entire website. Themes control more than just its appearance. They define your layout and your structure and widget areas and even how certain elements function. And because of that, it's important to choose a flexible and reliable theme early on. Switching themes back and forth later isn't as simple as it sounds either. When you change themes, things like your footer layout, your menus, and color settings, those can break or reset. And this often leads to hours of manual fixes just to get your site back to where it was. Starting with a solid, adaptable theme helps you avoid that problem completely, and it still keeps your site stable as it grows. Updates are indeed necessary, but doing them without preparation can break your site if something goes wrong. And that's why it's important to follow a safe process before applying any major changes. Before updating anything, just go to your backup plugin, such as UpdraftPlus, and then click Backup Now. Wait until you see the confirmation message that your backup has been successfully stored. And then once your backup is complete, you can then safely go to the update section here and then proceed with updating your plugins, your themes, or even your WordPress core. Sometimes new updates don't work well with older plugins and can cause errors. So having a fresh backup means that you can quickly restore your site to its previous state and still keep everything running without major downtime. Small security details are often overlooked, but they can make a big difference in protecting your site from basic attacks. One important rule is to never use admin as your login username. If your site is already using it, then create a new administrator account, log into that account, and then delete the original admin user. After that, go to Users, then Profile, scroll down to the nickname field, and enter your name or your brand name. Then change the display name publicly as an option to use that nickname. So by default, WordPress shows your login username as the author of your posts. Hackers can often scan websites to find these usernames and then use them in login attempts. changing your public display name hides your actual login details, making it even harder for bots to target your account. All right, so we're finally done here, and you don't need anything else to get a site up and running. This is pretty much the core of all of it. The rest is just details you can pick up later on. And if something still feels confusing, that's okay, it's normal. It makes more sense once you actually start clicking around and building your own pages. So yeah, just don't sit on it for too long. Open it up, start building, and fix things as you go. It's gonna be okay. I appreciate you watching and investing your time with me today. I'll see you at the next one.